Dexter Morgan is a genius serial killer, but nobody wants to be him. From everyone he loves dying to never truly being able to be himself. Dexter's life sucks, and I will go over every reason why, starting with one of the craziest. Imagine you were just born. You were brought home by your parents to a loving brother, and you have few worries beyond your next meal and where your mom is. As the years pass, your family grows close, as most do. You love your mother, and she dotes on you whenever possible. She seems stressed sometimes and isn't always around, but that is the case for most mothers, right? As you age into a toddler, you become more and more attached to your mother, but you can't really remember why. You are still too young. One day, your father is taken away.
Police! Freeze! Hands up against the wall. That's it.
And you aren't quite sure what took him away. One day he was there, and the next day he is not. It's almost impossible for you to understand why he is gone, and your mother doesn't explain much, if anything. And then even she is gone more and more, leaving you and your brother to be watched by the neighbor. You are confused and worried by the new changes to the routine of your family. Still, your mother continues to love you and your brother, so you feel some level of comfort and familiarity. Suddenly, she's bringing another man around, and you don't understand why. Regardless, he shows up time and time again, and one day your mother leaves him to look after you and your brother.
Mr. Morgan, we'll be here with you until I come home.
You start to trust him as well. Shortly thereafter, you start seeing him more and more. You begin to believe that he is your real dad, but it turns out he's just been using your mother, both professionally and privately. After a big fight between the two, your mother tells you that the man is not your dad, and you don't see him as frequently anymore. Another sudden detachment scarring you at a young age. Eventually, your mother's work with the police department endangers your entire family. Your father is still in jail, and then one day you, your brother, and your mother are abducted by the cartel she had been informing the police on. This is the beginning of the end. You are all transported to a shipping container in a nearby shipping yard. It's there that you witness the murder of your mother at the hands of the cartel. You are trapped in that shipping container for 3 days next to your mother's decaying body parts, as well as the bodies of a few other targets of the cartel. Finally, you are rescued by police, and you and your brother are placed in the care of the man from before. Suddenly one day, your brother isn't around anymore, but you can't quite understand the absence because you were only 3 years old. Eventually, the memories of him and your mother's fate fade completely, and you are fully integrated into your new family, the Morgans. You grow up never knowing that you have a long-lost brother, but the trauma of the situation exists just beneath the surface. After landing in what seems to be a healthy family unit, you begin to discover that you aren't like the other people around you. You begin experiencing dark urges, and you have no idea why. They all seem so happy and carefree. You, on the other hand, get no joy from the family outings and often long to be elsewhere.
It's great to see you having such a good time, Dex.
You kidding me? This hay's giving me a total allergy attack. We're just going around in circles on a pumpkin patch. I don't get it.
Your adoptive parents start to notice that something's off about you, but they lack any of the appropriate tools to help you. They argue about you, and sometimes you hear them. You start to worry that they don't want you anymore, but they remain actively involved in your life to the best of their ability. You just have to continue going through the motions, even as your adolescent angst builds and exacerbates the dark urges you'd been feeling since you were very young. Eventually, your adoptive father catches you taking those urges out on animals. You killed the neighbor's loud dog and buried it in the backyard.
I found the grave, son.
That dog was a noisy little creep, Dad.
He confronts you about the burial site, and though you try to downplay it, he knows that you have been hurting animals for a long time. He doesn't let you off the hook, and you are forced to face reality and speak truthfully about how you've been feeling. It's tense, and your father is taken aback, but he seems to be more understanding than you expected. He decides to help you channel your urges, rather than turn you over to the state for professional care. As years pass, your adoptive mother grows ill, and you watch her get weaker and weaker before she eventually passes away. With her loss, you no longer believe that anyone around you sees any good in you.
I miss someone looking at me and seeing a chance at goodness, even if it wasn't there.
You're left to identify with the darkness that you have almost always felt. Your adoptive father has been taking you hunting to help quell your urge to kill, but it's not always enough. On top of that, he is busy so often that that it interrupts some of your outings, and that is not going to work for you. You need to kill. You continue to struggle through all of your teen years, trying to keep your murderous drive at bay, but you know you are going to break eventually. Luckily for you, your father made the decision to teach you a strict code. So far, it has been working for you. His code has many rules, but he teaches you the two most important rules were 1. Never get caught, and 2. Never hurt an innocent person. Those rules make sense to you and keep you from trouble most of the time. You attended college and excelled with flying colors. No one is surprised, as you were known to be the quiet, nerdy type all through high school. Your pre-med professors encourage you and let you know that you are one of the most gifted students they've ever had. You thought that cutting into cadavers would help curb your dark impulses to hurt others, but it's not nearly enough. You need to kill, and there is no way to avoid it any longer. Despite being taught Harry's code, you have no opportunity to use it. You have never been permitted by Harry to kill a human being yet, only animals. But that all changes when Harry himself fell ill. Your first kill comes in defense of your adoptive father's life after his nurse starts trying to kill him through slow intravenous poisoning.
She's killing you by overdose.
Another blow to your psyche. You have already lost so much. For one, you don't even know your biological family members, and on top of that, the only mother you have known has already passed away. Losing Harry would be too much to bear now. Why does it have to be your father's nurse? Still, you are ready to defend him by killing her. It's basically the opportunity you've been waiting for. The nurse is your first kill, but she is far from your last. You develop and hone your skills, and before long, you are a seasoned serial killer. You were once on track for medical school after you graduated undergrad, but that is not where you are drawn. Instead, you decide to work in the same field your father does, with the Miami Metro Homicide Department. The department becomes like a second home for you, and the proximity to law enforcement helps keep your public image up. Everyone believes that you are a normal person, and no one suspects that you are a deranged killer, except for one person. Years pass, and your estranged brother Brian has finally decided to reach out to you.
Anyone sitting here?
Yeah, I'm saving these seats for my friends.
Without you knowing it, he had been stalking you for years, desperate to connect with you. He knows you are a serial killer and still accepts you, and you don't even remember him. But unlike you, he has remembered everything, and he is intent on jogging your memory. He breaks into your house and leaves clues to his identity. You never know when the next clue will come, but you are sickly excited for it. You are taunted by him for weeks, but you don't yet know why. In truth, he is also a serial killer, but he has no code. He kills anyone he wants with no remorse, and he wants to start killing together.
We can take this journey together.
Alongside you. Once he finally gets you to remember your past and your mother's death, you are traumatized, but he is solely focused on killing with you. He sets up a kill room, and on the table he has strapped your foster sister, Deborah. She's your last remaining family member. I mean, Brian is there, and he is your blood brother, but you don't truly know him. Plus, he is insane. Deb has been there for you through everything. Your loyalties should be divided, but you know who you are. You can't kill Deb. You can't let anyone else kill her either. You hesitate, and your brother retaliates angrily.
You can't be a killer and a hero. It doesn't work that way!
You have to fight him off, and the police arrive shortly after. Knowing you are betraying your own flesh and blood, you point the police in the direction Brian ran. He won't be caught, you know that, otherwise he could expose you. But the mere fact that you gave the police the heads up shows where your loyalty lies. It's with your adoptive sister, Deb, and you know that you'll have to protect her from Brian in the future. You'll have to eliminate him to stop him from being a threat to her. Deb is brought to the hospital, and in just a day or two, she is to be released under your care. You know this will bring your brother back to you as he looks to kill Deb. You set the stage perfectly for him, and he shows up for his revenge just as you anticipated. It's then that you subdue him, and he soon wakes up prepared for slaughter by your hand. He understands his reality, but tries to talk you out of it. But you know he fits the code, and should you spare him, Deborah will never be safe.
The safety of my sister.
So you slit his throat and he bleeds out in front of you. For the first time in a while, you truly feel all alone again. As you begin to recover psychologically from having to kill your own brother, it's revealed that the underwater burial ground you used to dump your victims' bodies has been discovered by divers.
What appears to be an underwater graveyard in a crevice off the coast of Miami.
You just can't seem to catch a break. Finally, you find yourself living in the aftermath of your decisions, and your kills have started to draw attention. The Bay Harbor Butcher, the name the media gives to the killer, is officially being investigated by police, including one moody and determined Detective James Dokes. Dokes is incredibly suspicious of you. Suddenly, you're struggling with the dilemma of your secret life as a vigilante serial killer being discovered, and the threat that poses to your facade as a caring brother and a hardworking blood spatter analyst for the Miami Metro Police Department. As the investigation into the Bay Harbor Butcher intensifies, you are constantly looking over your shoulder, trying to avoid detection. Your fear increases when the FBI starts getting involved in the case. You can't tell anyone what you're going through, and your isolation only grows as you worry about being found out. Your romantic life is also under strain. Rita, your girlfriend, is unaware of your secret life, but her past trauma and the challenges of raising her children while trying to make the relationship work create tension. You struggle with your feelings for her and the constant pull of your dark passenger. You long to find someone you can be completely honest with, but you do care for Rita and her 2 children deeply. Though she doesn't know exactly what is up with you, Rita confronts you about your shady behavior one day, and you are forced to lean into a lie that you are a drug addict.
Are you an addict?
Yes, I have an addiction.
She insists you start Narcotics Anonymous, and there you meet Lila, a woman who would become dangerously obsessed with you, threaten your relationship with Rita, and try to kill her children. You are finally exposed to Dokes to be the Bay Harbor Butcher.
You're the Bay Harbor Butcher.
But in the end, you're able to avoid being caught. Lila blows Dokes to smithereens once she realizes that he is threatening you. This solves one problem for you. However, you also realize that you can't hide your secret forever. You finally overcome the threat of Dokes and the FBI. You want to refocus on your life with your partner, Rita, while also maintaining your kill ritual, and things never seem to slow down. As soon as you are getting back into the swing of things, you kill the wrong target, perhaps due to a failed stalking. You didn't anticipate someone else being at the home of your next target, but when you arrive, there they are. The strange man attacks you, and in defense of yourself, your knife ends up in their chest.
I went to kill Freebo and ended up killing a total stranger.
You don't know it yet, but that kill would bring an entire new set of problems. Turns out that you killed the brother of the ADA, Assistant District Attorney of Miami.
It's Miguel Prado. He's at ADA. He's been on a mission to put away as many bad guys as he can.
As if that isn't bad enough, they also have a third brother who has a bad temper and a lot of connections. They aren't going to let this go. Now you have to race to find the person they believed killed him, your original target, before the homicide department finds him and he denies the murder, maybe even identifies you as another party present that night. Luckily, you work the scene and are able to remove or hide any evidence that would implicate you. Now it's yet another race against Miami Metro's homicide department, this time to find Freebo, the killer you were trying to frame for Oscar Prado's death. Fortunately, you are a skilled stalker. You find him first and take him out, but you aren't out of the woods yet. Oscar's brother, Miguel, bent on avenging his brother, has also tracked Freebo to your exact location and arrives just as you finish your ritual. You hear him coming and walk outside to stop him from discovering your kill room. You claim self-defense and hope he buys it.
It was self-defense.
If he doesn't, you most likely have to kill him as well. He not only buys it, but is grateful for your intervention.
I wasn't sure that I could do this, but you did.
He hugs you and thanks you for killing whom he believes to be responsible for his brother's murder. You cleared up one mess, but after that encounter, Miguel insists on becoming close friends with you. You are used to being more of a lone wolf. If anyone got too close to you, they could learn your secret, breaking the code. But it seems Miguel is smarter than most. After you expertly get rid of Freebo's body, he is tipped off to the idea that you may be a trained murderer. He won't let you get too far from him. He wants to follow in your footsteps, killing under the guise of serving justice to murderers who slip through the cracks of the legal system. He already knows too much, and deep down, he won't take no for an answer. And you wouldn't mind having a friend who knew the real you. Eventually, you cave to his advances and you start to open up about your past, cautiously. You begin to teach your new friend the code you were taught, the most important lesson being never hurt an innocent. But he goes rogue. Tossing your code to the wayside, he begins to kill without a care, starting with a woman he saw as professional competition. There it goes. Your first real friendship washed down the drain in an instant. After having to kill your own biological brother and the first woman you thought could ever truly see and accept you, you are now forced to kill your first close friend. After killing Miguel, you find yourself at a new crossroads in life. You're now married to Rita, and you've become a father figure to her 2 kids, along with your shared son, Harrison. Your life appears normal on the outside, but underneath, your dark passenger is still very much alive, and you're struggling to balance your family life with your need to kill. The biggest threat to your feigned peaceful existence comes in the form of a new, highly dangerous adversary, Arthur Mitchell, also known as the Trinity Killer.
Son of a bitch. I call him the Trinity Killer.
He is a killer and a family man, just like you, but his dark side is far more monstrous. You begin to investigate him, and the more you learn, the more you realize that Arthur is way more unpredictable and deranged than any other killer you've encountered. He kills in a specific pattern, with each murder representing a different aspect of a perfect family life that he seeks to destroy. Not quite the family man you would come to idolize. As you get closer to Arthur, your obsession with him grows, and you become increasingly reckless in your pursuit. You start to push boundaries that you've never crossed before, even going so far as to save his life when he tries to kill himself one day.
No, you're mine.
This isn't how you die.
This act would come back to bite you in the cruelest way. In a devastating twist, you are finally able to confront Arthur.
I should have killed you when I had the chance.
In doing so, however, you fail to protect your own family. Before you manage to take Arthur out, he is able to discover your true identity and goes on to kill your wife, Rita, in his signature brutal fashion. You return home to find her lifeless body in the bathtub, and your son Harrison sitting in a pool of her blood on the bathroom floor. This leaves you utterly shattered, knowing that it is your fault that Rita is dead. Had you killed Trinity when you first had the chance, or even just allowed him to kill himself when he attempted suicide, Rita would still be alive. Once again, you are all alone, but now you are left to deal with the fallout of your own wife's murder and the traumatization of your young son. You can take solace in knowing that the Trinity Killer's reign of terror is over, but it's of little comfort. You know that your life will never be the same, and you're the one to blame, yet again. You have finally started to move on with life after losing Rita. You are struggling with grief and attempting to balance your dark urges while also being a single parent to your son, Harrison. But a new issue arises. As always, you are trying to make sense of your new reality, haunted by the loss of your wife, and figuring out ways to protect Harrison from the dangers that come with living with you and your dark passenger when everything comes to a head. You've found a new target in killer Boyd Fowler, but when you finally take him down, there is a witness. She was supposed to be Boyd's next victim before you killed him. She is an innocent person, but she has seen you murder a man as well. The first rule of Harry's code could be broken if you let her live.
First rule of the code, Dexter. Don't get caught.
But the second rule would be broken if you take her out. Just as you were trying to recreate a sense of normalcy for yourself and get back into your ritual, you encounter this new conundrum. But Lumen Pierce is just the latest woman to be assaulted and tortured by a group of horrible men, the Barrel Girls gang, including the one she just watched you kill. Without your intervention, she'd have been murdered. After gaining her trust, Lumen becomes your partner in a sense. You bond over your shared trauma and a desire to take down the men responsible for her abduction. You decide to help her get revenge on the men who hurt her, all while trying to maintain Harry's strict code. At the same time, you are also trying to manage your relationship with Deb, who is struggling with her own emotional turmoil after a man is nearly killed on your watch at work.
Clear?
Yes, clear.
On top of that, you need a nanny for your motherless son, and you're dealing with the complicated dynamic you have with your coworker Quinn back at Miami Metro, who is actively trying to frame you as a killer.
Do you recognize this man?
You're truly battling in every area of your life, and nothing is getting easier. Ultimately, you are left to try to find a balance between the monster inside of you and being the father and brother you feel Harrison and Deborah deserve. You successfully take down the Barrel Girls gang with Lumen and are excited to finally move on. You see her as a potential long-term partner, but she isn't on the same page.
I have to leave.
She only wanted revenge, and after killing her abductors, she no longer feels the need to kill like you do.
I don't feel it anymore.
Realizing that the dark passenger is something you can never fully escape, you are forced to let her go and grapple with the loss of yet another close connection. After losing Lumen, you get back into your routine.
Welcome back.
And even find an unlikely friend in a local pastor known as Brother Sam. But soon you are faced with a new threat. A pair of killers, Travis Marshall, a former theology student, and his mentor, Professor Geller, seem to be terrorizing the Miami metro area. Motivated by their religion, the two have been implicated in a series of ritualistic murders inspired by the biblical apocalypse. Travis and Geller seem to see themselves as the final instruments for God's divine plan and judgment. You are intent on stopping them after realizing they're targeting innocent people, but you are constantly bested as they are always able to stay one step ahead of the police department and even you. In addition to that, your new friend Brother Sam has been murdered by a church member.
But in my experience, darkness usually prevails.
The two of you had grown close. He made you think about your choice to kill and what your future could possibly hold for you. He challenged your sense of morality and made you face the concept of salvation. He was the first person since your adoptive mother to see any light in you, and now he's gone. You just can't seem to keep a friend.
I also see a light.
When you finally track down Travis, he convinces you that he is not the mastermind behind the killings. His former professor, Dr. Geller, is. You believe him and spare his life. This turns out to be a major mistake on your part. Eventually, you discover that Travis is mentally ill.
He thinks Geller is still alive, talking to someone who isn't there.
And he is a lone killer. You are finally able to stop him, but only after he manages to kidnap your son. He takes Harrison in a plan to sacrifice your son in his final ritual. You manage to get your son back and take Travis down, but soon there is a new problem. Deb walks in on you killing him. Your secret is revealed again, but this time to the last person you would want to know it, your own sister. What do you do now? You've always cared for Deb and protected her at all costs, but if she knows you are a killer, all of that will change. She may even turn you in. You can't kill her.
I will not kill my sister. I will not kill my sister. I will not kill my sister.
You can't make her forget. So you lie. You've been lying and manipulating your entire life. You have always been able to win over Deb, but this time it doesn't quite work. You were able to avoid being arrested and even get her to help you stage the crime scene, but she doesn't let it go. She tears your apartment apart and finds out that you are the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Did you kill all these people?
You finally fess up, tarnishing any trust the two of you had. She will never look at you the same, and you know that. You fight hard to make the familial bond stick, but it's hopeless. You've lost yet another connection, and perhaps the most important one of all this time. She's struggling with what you are, and you don't know how to fix it. In addition to losing Deborah's trust, things become more complicated when you meet Hannah McKay, a woman with her own dark past. She's a killer, just like you, but there's something about her that makes you feel seen. Still, you can't let yourself get too close, as letting her in could expose everything you've worked so hard to keep hidden. You plan to kill her, but can't bring yourself to take her life. And as much as you try to distance yourself, even after the attempt to kill, the two of you only grow closer. On top of everything, LaGuerta is on your trail. She's obsessed with the idea that you're the Bay Harbor Butcher, and she's getting dangerously close to uncovering your secret. You know you can't let that happen. If she connects the dots and convinces others of your guilt, you're done. With the pressure mounting, every move you make only seems to speed up your downfall. The world you created is crashing around you, and that is only heightened by Deborah's. Her lack of faith in you is not helping matters. You've dragged her into your messy life by having her help you stage Travis Marshall's crime scene.
What were you doing there, Lieutenant?
Now she is an accomplice, and LaGuerta will bring her in right along with you. You could ruin her entire life. Eventually, LaGuerta makes her final move, and she's sure it will expose you as the Bay Harbor Butcher. The need to protect Deb and keep Harry's code to the best of your ability traps you in a corner. That's when you make the hardest choice of your life. You choose to kill Maria LaGuerta, an innocent. It's not something you wanted to do, but it's the only way to keep your secret safe. It's a decision that has monumental consequences, and you feel them immediately when Deborah witnesses you preparing to kill LaGuerta. To save you, Deborah chooses to kill Maria just as she is waking up. You know you've pushed your sister away for good, and now you're facing the reality that she may never speak to you again. You've lost control in the relationship you cherished the most and have always tried to protect. Your life is unraveling, and your connection to Hannah, a known killer whom Deborah hates, is only complicating everything. You've forced your sister to make an impossible choice and compromise everything she is. You've lost yet another friend and almost been found out yet again. You're walking a tightrope, and you know it's only a matter of time before everything falls apart. Still, the darkness inside of you is growing, and it's destroying everyone and everything you care about. Everything feels like it's coming to an awful end. You're grappling with the fallout from LaGuerta's murder, the pain of losing Deborah, and the ongoing pressure of living a double life as a killer. How much longer can you do this? You find yourself facing a new dangerous threat in Dr. Vogel.
As you can see, we have a guest. This is Dr. Evelyn Vogel,
a neuropsychiatrist working with the homicide department to find a new killer. She seems to know too much about you and your dark passenger. She claims to be someone who can help you understand your urges. She claims to know your father Harry, and even claims to have helped him develop the code you live by.
You can't kill me.
Why?
Because I don't fit Harry's code.
But you're never sure if you can really trust her. Vogel's got her own agenda, and naturally it piques your suspicion. As you try to navigate your complex relationship with Vogel, you are also trying to protect Harrison and find some kind of stability for him. But your life is far from normal, so how can he possibly have stability within it? You wonder if you were any good for him after how you've hurt other people you cared for. After everything that's happened, Deborah is more lost than ever before. She seems to hate you now.
And I hate you for it.
Her emotions are all over the place. She's struggling with guilt, trauma, and her own choices, and she won't even speak to you.
Deb, you haven't talked to me in weeks.
The bond you once shared with her is effectively over. You face a new enemy, Oliver Saxon, aka the Brain Surgeon. He is a killer, but with incredibly dark motivations. His actions and motivations force you to confront your own murderous nature in ways that you have been avoiding for your entire life. Additionally, as you track down the deranged killer, you learn that he is Dr. Vogel's biological son. Armed with that information, she begs you to spare him. You've come to trust Dr. Vogel, but you also want to give in to your urges and adhere to your code. Saxon is a dangerous killer, and you know you should take him out. But before you can make a decision, he kills Vogel and escapes.
Don't touch her.
Mother chose the wrong son. Again.
You know, now more than ever, that you can't continue to let him live. As with your previous victims, you were able to track Saxon down and subdue him, but unlike your other victims, you decide to let the homicide department apprehend him. You call your sister to bring him in, but he is able to escape his trappings and shoots Deb, critically injuring her. At first it looks like she will recover, but she suffers a stroke while she is in the hospital and is rendered effectively brain dead. You and Deborah never fully recovered after she found out that you were the Bay Harbor butcher. Now a doctor is telling you that she will never speak again. Your only sibling is gone, and it feels like it's all your fault. Everyone you have ever loved has been killed or hurt due to your need to kill. You have to face facts that you're no good for anyone in your orbit. You're forced to deal with the consequences of your actions as a murderer, what you've done to your family, and the fact that your dark passenger has only made you destroy the people you love. Your last remaining blood relative and only son, Harrison, will surely be next if you stay around him, so you make the ultimate sacrifice. You were planning to run away with your girlfriend Hannah along with Harrison, but now you know that you can't do that. You steal your sister's body from the hospital as a hurricane is headed toward Miami. You dump Deb's body in the ocean and call your son one last time.
I want you to remember that every single day until I see you again. Daddy loves you.
Before you drive your boat into the oncoming hurricane. Miraculously, you survive, but you have effectively ended your life as Dexter Morgan. You moved to Oregon to start a new life, and though you manage to stay alive, you feel more dead inside than ever before. It's a tragic end to a complicated journey, but deep down, you always knew you would end up alone. You spent your entire life trying to balance the monster you are with the man you want to be, but in the end, you realize the cost is too high. You walk away from it all, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction in your wake. And just like that, Dexter Morgan is a ghost. Eventually, you move on from Morgan. You are now living under the alias James Jim Lindsay in a small New York town named Iron Lake. It's been nearly a decade since your supposed death in Miami, leaving behind your life as a father, blood spatter analyst, and a vigilante serial killer. You've tried to suppress your uncontrollable urge to kill and live a quiet life working as a store clerk at the local fish and game shop. But everything changes when you get pulled back into your old ways. The peaceful facade cracks when you learn that a local resident, Matt Caldwell, committed a hit-and-run accident using a boat, killing 5 people.
The part where 5 people died because of you.
All right.
Worse, he got away with it without so much as a slap on the wrist. Matt is an arrogant loudmouth and incredibly disrespectful. You do your best to avoid him, but after you are forced to sell him an expensive rifle, he uses it to kill a majestic white deer whom you'd grown quite close to after all these years. You snap and kill him, breaking your nearly decade-long streak of abstaining from killing. Things get complicated when Angela Bishop, the local police chief and your girlfriend, begins doggedly investigating Matt's disappearance at the behest of his very influential father. Slowly but surely, she begins to get closer to discovering your secret. Once your long-lost son comes into town looking for you,
Are you Dexter Morgan?
her trust in you is broken, and your relationship becomes more and more estranged. She starts to keep you at arm's length while maintaining a casual facade to avoid letting you onto her suspicions. You are so distracted by tracking local serial killer Kurt Caldwell and the reemergence of your son Harrison that you don't even realize she's onto you. You manage to kill Kurt, but that isn't until after he tries to kill your son and burns your home down. As you are reeling from that, Angela is on the brink of figuring you out. Before you realize it, she has you on your knees with a gun pointed to the back of your head and you are being arrested.
What could she possibly know?
Scarred by your abandonment and the death of both his mother and adoptive mother, Harrison has grown up somewhat troubled and harboring his own darkness. The reunion stirs up old feelings and comes to a head when you realize that Harrison has inherited some of your darker traits. When Angela places you under arrest, your murderous past finally catches up with you, and you're forced to make a final choice to protect Harrison from your own darkness.
Don't be a hero, Logan. I just need to get out and see my son.
You escape prison and try to make a run for it with your son, but it's no use after he sees you for what you really are, a monster. You instruct him to take his rifle and kill you. Knowing he will never be safe with you, you tell him exactly where to shoot, gesturing to your heart. He pulls the trigger and you fall to the ground, telling him that he did a good job. You are bleeding out, finally released from your life of torment.
You did good.
When Angela arrives on the scene, just as your life is slipping away, she calls an ambulance and they are able to resuscitate you. Against all odds, your life of pain and longing is going to continue. You can't escape the torture of being Dexter Morgan. There is truly no rest for the wicked. Try as he might, Dexter Morgan's life never gets any easier, and even when he tries to end his suffering through death, his heart beats on. There is no doubt that the next chapter of his life will be as tumultuous as all the others. Being Dexter Morgan truly sucks.